What's up, guys? Welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video, I am dunking with my friends Richard and Jimmy. They are two athletes of mine. Richard is about 6'1". He was in the last video really struggling to get his first dunk in that session. He has dunked before, but in that session, he was just having a rough day. And I gave him some cues. Jimmy talked to him. Anyways, he did way better this session. I think he made maybe 5 dunks. And Jimmy, obviously, you guys have seen 5'8", beast of an athlete, super strong. He's been working with us for a while, big volleyball guy. Richard actually is as well. And so I got to dunk with them, and I will say in this session, I went off. I jumped very, very high, and I dunked super hard. So that's always fun. I was trying to explain to some people who didn't understand dunking, you know, the differences, and they're like, I can't really tell. And I'm like, okay, it's like, how high is my hand above the rim, and how hard am I putting the ball through the hoop? Like, it's almost like a volleyball spike. Like, the harder you dunk the ball, or the harder you were to spike, that's similar to dunking. Like, that makes it a better or worse dunk. Anyways, so in this one, I was really dialing into the rhythm that I use when I do my layups that are high. And that rhythm that I use in a layup is kind of like I spin the ball, and then it's like a gallop in, and I do one dribble, and then I hit that rhythm of those last 3 steps. And when I do my really, really good lobs, it's the same exact rhythm. So as you're watching this, you can see outside of like these speed jumps and me screwing around, you'll really start to see that I add a lot of speed into these early one-handers. And the reason I was doing that is because I was just getting that rhythm so ingrained, and my approach wasn't changing. It was just really my starting position was. So some of these distance dunks that I'm doing, I was actually starting as far back as...
If you are an athlete that is looking to add inches to their vertical, our coaching is going to help you add at least 3 inches of vertical in the next 6 months. And if not, we're going to train you for free until you do. The reason we're so confident in making this guarantee is because based on polls we just took, the average athlete on THP gains 4 inches of vertical in 6 months. And 1 in 5 athletes gain at least 7 inches of vertical, which is insane. If you want to see if you qualify for our coaching, just click the link in the description and fill out the application, and we'll get back to you if you're a good fit. Now let's get back to the video.
The half court line. So I actually dunked behind that red line, which is, I think I looked at it and it was about at the second hash, which was pretty good. And then I really started to get in the session here. So you'll see that these jumps start to get increasingly crazy, and Jimmy and I were kind of going back and forth with it, but it was a ton of fun. I rarely have a session where I feel like I can just make any and every dunk that I am trying, but this was one of those sessions where, especially off the lob, I felt like it doesn't matter where the ball is, I'm gonna go grab it and I'm gonna dunk the shit out of it. And that's just a really fun sensation. I initially wanted to, like, there was a lefty dunk. I've never done that in my life. I've never dunked in my left hand. And then a right hand where I just took off. So, you know, 2 hands didn't matter. I tried some windmills off the dribble, but I wasn't really on. I was kind of jumping from too far back and trying to flush them. But yeah, my 2-handers have gotten super consistent, which was a big goal of mine a little while back. I knew I could do them more often, but I just wasn't. And, you know, I've been just trying to add dunks slowly to my bag because it used to just be 1-handers, and now that's kind of changing. And that's part of the game. Like, it takes a while to improve. I was telling Richard, you know, this didn't happen for me overnight, you know, and telling Jimmy as well. It took me a long time to get to a point where I was consistently dunking well and making, you know, a variety of dunks. So it was fun too, because on the top, you can see that was my first 2-hand tomahawk off the dribble in like years. Anyways, you can see on the top of that little like walkway, there was a bunch of people that are just watching us dunk. And then Jimmy hit a windmill, which is awesome, little baby windmill. He's hyped, let's go. And yeah, it was just a ton of fun to get that energy too from them. There was like a swimmy going on, and the parents were the ones that were watching. I kept getting rim stuff on those windmills. It was really annoying. Punched that off the dribble. And yeah, they just gave us so much energy. And you'll see that at the end of the session, I attempted an East Bay, and the attempt was freaking insane. Like, I wasn't just trying to make it, I was trying to absolutely annihilate it. So when you get to that, you guys will see what I mean. But yeah, in general, leading up to this, I haven't really posted, you know, too much. There was kind of like a 1-hand pump. I really haven't posted too much of what I've been doing in the weight room and stuff, but I had a little bit of PFP, and so I was really managing that as best possible, and then really trying to, oh, that was my favorite, crush that. Anyways, yeah, so I was trying to manage the fatigue that I had, and the knee pain that I had. And so I always get a little bit of PFP, but it was on my right knee after the last session I did. I couldn't tell if it was PFP or patella tendinopathy. I actually think it was both, but took care of that, and then obviously went home for Thanksgiving break and trained pretty hard during that period of time. I was kind of going through a little bit more anxiety than usual, but I still pushed through and made sure I got all the sessions in. And yeah, I feel like I've made a lot of progress on specifically, my approach. And I've known that I had the ability to tap into that, but I've rarely been able to repeat it. And now that I figured out the rhythm of my galloping and kind of spinning the ball to myself and then the dribble, it just feels automatic. I don't really think about, the dunk as much as I used to, as much as I'm actually just focusing on making sure the lead-in feels right, because, and there's research to support this, but your brain with motor patterns, it just basically goes on autopilot. And when you can do that and you can really add effort and you kind of can tell intuitively what needs to be dialed up, and in my case it's rhythm and momentum, then you really start to make a lot of progress and you can really continue to add intensity and effort to it. So a lot of the session was me doing that, and as you guys saw, in that East Bay attempt, I was going wild with it. I was so hyped. I should have punched it, but ended up, just getting a little too excited and trying to throw the ball through the hoop. But yeah, it was a great session nonetheless. Jimmy and Richard, they crushed it and we had a ton of fun. So stay tuned, guys. And as always, sign up for coaching if you're interested. Peace out.